Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 51. In the compartment of the bullet train, Su-ming and other special recruits are in this section. Although the freshman competition is a matter for freshmen of the whole school, the school also understands that those who can compete for the 10 positions can only be born among the special recruits. So before the competition started, the school had to tell Su-ming and the others something. Everyone should know each other. I know that you have some grievances with each other. This is normal. As long as no one is killed, the school will not care, because we all know that you are all arrogant people. However, the scale of this freshman competition is different from the past. It used to be a competition within the school, but now it is a competition among 4 schools. We do not require you to cooperate sincerely in it, but if you encounter a certain situation, I hope you can stand on the side of Shanghai University. Think about it from a different angle. I won't talk nonsense anymore. I believe that you are all smart people and know what I mean by these words. I hope you can gain something in the lost world. The teacher who led the team looked at Su-ming and the others and said, Su-ming didn't know this teacher, but his strength should be similar to that of Shangguanzhang. He was the head teacher who went to the imperial capital this time. In addition, each carriage is supervised by a teacher. After all, there are hundreds of freshmen, and it would be a headache for a teacher to manage even the 8th level abilities. The person in charge of managing Su-ming and the others is an old acquaintance, Ms. Liu, who almost always recruits special students. Everyone is familiar with her, so it is easier to manage them. Little guy, you're living a good life. I thought you'd be able to separate yourself from other people with unknown abilities like you, but I didn't expect you to reach the 3rd level. After the teacher who led the team left, Teacher Liu came to Su-ming with a slender waist, and said with a smile on his face. It's just a fluke. To be honest, after feeling the realm of those 2, I was depressed for a while. When I was at the 2nd level, they were still 1st level scum. Now that I am at the 3rd level, they are also 3rd level. It's high. Do you think this hurts people? Su-ming said angrily, although he didn't think that Wang Can and Shui Wei could defeat him at the 3rd level, but it was impossible to say that he didn't have any ideas in his heart. Thinking about how I was cheating and absorbing the power stone, I managed to break through to the 3rd level before I set off, but after finding a teacher, I was only at the 3rd level. How unfair it is. Stop coming. Do you know how much the school has spent in order to improve their supernatural strength? It can be said that they don't even want to receive supernatural stones for the whole freshman year. Don't look at their realms improving fast now. Wait for the freshman competition. Once it's over, you'll know. Lu Ruyu rolled her coquettish eyes and said, seeing Su-ming's heart pounding, facing this kind of mature Yuji, he was only less than 20 in his previous life and this life, how could he resist this? Ah. Hee. The effect of meditation without the power stone is indeed much worse, but the competition rewards also have power stones. How much I want to have such a saturated meditation. Su-ming quickly diverted his attention and said, the so-called sister Yu is in the heart, and the sword is like lightning. I don't even have a sword now, so don't think about it. The speed of the train is very fast, and there are no stops, so it takes a few hours to arrive at the imperial capital. Imperial University has already arranged a bus. Under the leadership of the guide bus, the group of Modu University officially came out to breathe after arriving at the campus of Imperial University. Boss Su, the style of this Imperial University is completely different from ours. It's antique, but I don't know if their school uniforms are the long-sleeved ones. Naturally, Su-ming's trio got together right away, and the others were no strangers to it. After the incident with the old students at the school gate, the freshmen almost knew about the 3 of them. Fatty, I've convinced you too. The first thing people care about when they come here is the situation of their opponents. You only think about girls. As you are, it's okay to raise a group at home, right? Su-ming curled his lips and said, Fatty is a real rich 2nd generation. Although it is said that this is an era where the strong are respected, the strong also need to survive, and they also need money. Therefore, the status of being rich in this era is no worse than before. The ones at home don't smell as good as outside. To be honest, there are indeed 2 people in my family with collars around their necks. Let's hold hands with you some other day to try it out. The fat man shook his head and said, seeing that he deserved a beating, Su-ming and Shunzi looked at each other, and slapped him on both sides of the head with their hands. Damn, Fatty, you deserve a beating. Damn, Fatty, don't tell me about this, you should hit me. After finishing speaking, Su-ming and Shunzi heard each other's words and looked at each other again, and then Shunzi also slapped Su-ming. They're all men, pretending to be great saints, having no women in their hearts, and turning into useless people. No wonder you are all so weak, and you don't have the slightest pursuit in your feelings. You really don't make progress. Su-ming said angrily, the so-called sexual appetite. Human nature, why should it be suppressed? That's right, Shunzi, it's boring for you to do this. Women don't like it. Do you like men? I'll learn from Fatty. Don't talk nonsense. If you have benefits, don't share them with your brothers. No wonder you don't have the motivation to have a woman in your heart. You don't communicate much. How can you gain experience? With so many women in the world, do you have to try it yourself? You, really useless. Su-ming looked at the two of them, and said with a regretful face, as if he hated iron but not steel. Su-ming, I'm finally waiting for you. At this moment, a slightly familiar voice sounded. Su-ming looked back and found that it was Li Ming. By the way, why is this guy here at Imperial University? Was it assigned? Seeing the appearance of this person, Su-ming was a little surprised and thought, this guy was already a first-order advanced practitioner during the awakening ceremony. Although the ability is not very good, it is very possible to come to Imperial University through the adjustment of the League's ratings. Li Ming, it's really a bit unhappy to meet you here. Su-ming said with a complicated expression, it should be a happy thing to meet an old friend in a foreign land, but this guy was not happy with his predecessor before, and Su-ming really couldn't be happy about the influence of some memories. This is the A-level ability from your star city. It doesn't look good after being scrambled by the 4 famous schools. It's as useless as you. Li Ming just wanted to start a fight with Su-ming, but he didn't want to hear a voice behind him, which immediately diverted Li Ming's anger. Chapter 52. Interesting. Seeing the person coming, Su-ming showed a strange look, not because Li Ming came to find fault with him, but was found fault by others. But this person who came here not only reached the second-level advanced level of supernatural powers, but also reached the second-level advanced level in chi and blood cultivation. Speaking of it, it is somewhat consistent with Su-ming's own practice line, and most seeks two-way development. Yan Dao, what are you doing here? I don't have time to fight with you today. Li Ming said with a bad look, it seems that there seems to be some story between these two people. Of course I'm here to observe the geniuses of Shanghai Metropolitan University. By the way, let's see what kind of person this townsman who rejected Imperial Capital University is, but it's really disappointing. The man named Yan Dao looked at Su-ming and said sarcastically that he does not have the passive mental perception like Su-ming, and Su-ming's ability is space. Even if it is not working, there will be subtle space folds around him, which makes people feel uncomfortable. I can feel his aura intuitively. If he is not too high level, it is difficult to feel the fluctuation of his abilities. So in Su-ming's eyes at this time, except for some not too weak power fluctuations, he has no other feelings at all. Well, I have no problem with you saying that Li Ming is not very good, but you don't need to get involved with me. I didn't mess with you. Su-ming spread his hands. Although he gave Li Ming the opportunity to avenge his personal revenge when he was in Xingcheng Middle School, it doesn't mean that he can be friendly to Li Ming. Public is public, private is private, this should not be confused. Li Ming was given a chance at the beginning because that guy didn't give Xingcheng Middle School face, and it wasn't because Li Ming was bullied. Yo, are you still not convinced? Look at you, you look a bit A-level, even if you don't have literature for unknown abilities, you are too sorry for your abilities at this level. Have you reached the second level yet? You're not still wandering around the first level. People from this star city are really different. Yan Dao said mockingly, and the other students of Imperial University also laughed when they heard it. Shunzi, do you think this group of people is sick? The freshman contest is held jointly by the 4 schools. Didn't they know the situation of other schools before? They don't even know about Boss Sus deeds. Seeing this group of people like this, not to mention Su-ming, Fatty and Shunzi were a little baffled. Among other things, although Su-ming doesn't show up in school very often, everyone knows about the incident with the old student. 3 old students of the 3rd rank were pressed and beaten by Su-ming. How dare this group of students who did not reach the 3rd rank? I don't know, maybe. I want to be beaten. We don't care, just watch. Shunzi thought about many possibilities, and finally came up with a reason that he thought was reasonable. Apart from the itching of this group of people, there seemed to be no other possibility. Hey, what kind of people are there in the Imperial Capital University? What you said, I'm a bit confused. Su Ming said with a speechless face, if other schools are full of people who don't even know the opponent's situation first, he will be very disappointed in this freshman competition. Yan Dao, the grievances between us should not be related to the region. If you want to fight, I will accompany you at any time. Li Ming took a step forward and said, his body was filled with energy and blood, which made Su Ming behind him startled. Although there was some disagreement with Li Ming, the other party's behavior made him have to admit that he was still very talented in the cultivation of qi and blood, and he had already mastered the release of qi and blood. Although Su Ming is already a third-level cultivator, he has not mastered such an ability. Of course, it is also possible that he has not focused his energy on it. After all, at the beginning, he was just using the energy and blood to fight against the mysterious pressure. Although he later realized the connection between the energy and the blood, he didn't put too much energy on it. Fight, can you beat me? Don't talk about using abilities, even if you don't use abilities, how many times have you won? Besides, am I wrong? Look at yourself, and look at that guy. You're so weak that you can't be any weaker, and this is the genius of your star city, which is really surprising. Hearing this, Yan Dao said with a look of disdain, which made Su Ming feel very uncomfortable. Although it sounds like it has little to do with him, and his sense of belonging to Star City is the same, but it is the place where he lived after all. Thinking, a glove appeared on Su Ming's right hand, exuding a hot breath. Seeing this, the fat man at the back couldn't help laughing, and pulled Shunzi back half a step. I didn't say that, you guys. Yan Dao continued to speak, but before he finished speaking, a blunt sound came out, and Yan Dao, who was still high-spirited just now, took off on the spot, with a flame rising from his left cheek, and a series of blasting sounds made people feel scalp tingling. This person's facial muscles can't move, so don't force them to move, or the expression on his face is easy to be beaten. Su Ming shook his hands and said, the strength of the third-level cultivator was pulled out. Although an unsuspecting second-tier cultivator could hold it, it was not easy to get up. Although Su Ming likes to greet people with a big bidu, the main reason is for fun, but the face is one of the sensitive parts of the human body, and attacking it here has a significant effect. Yan Dao, are you okay? Seeing this, the people in the same company hurried over to help Yan Dao up. When they saw Yan Dao's left face was covered with blisters, they took a deep breath. It hurts just looking at it. You actually engaged in a sneak attack. Is this the quality of the students of Shanghai University? Another student from Imperial University asked sharply, although he didn't see Su Ming make a move, but the other party's actions already showed everything. Sneak attack. That eye of yours saw me sneak attack. Is the supernatural effect also a sneak attack? I'm telling you now that I'm going to whip you, can you stop it? Su Ming said nonchalantly that the special effects of the spatial ability meant that he would suffer a lot of misunderstandings, so he didn't bother to explain. You're making excuses. How can there be such a supernatural effect? You have the ability. Snapped. Before the man finished speaking, he followed in Yan Dao's footsteps. Look, it's useless to remind you, isn't it? You still have to suffer what you deserve. Why don't you listen to what I told you? Su Ming said with an annoyed face, as if he felt sorry for the student who didn't believe him just now. The movement here quickly attracted the attention of a large number of people. For a while, students from Imperial University surrounded them. Although they didn't know what happened, this was Imperial University and their home stadium. How could it be possible to watch people from other schools doing evil in their own school? Chapter 53. Why? Want to bully others? There are quite a few people from our side. Seeing this, the fat man took a step forward and said, at the same time, the students of Shanghai University who noticed the situation here also leaned over. Although this is Imperial University, it is only an area, and it is impossible for everyone to be here. In comparison, all the freshmen from Shanghai University came together, overwhelming each other in terms of numbers. Stop. What are you bastards trying to do? And everyone from Shanghai, it's inappropriate for guests to do this. Teacher Lu and the others watched from the sidelines, and didn't intend to stop them. They also knew that if they wanted to live comfortably in Imperial University, they had to do some things. But the teachers of Imperial University don't think so. Although they also have the idea of competition, this is their campus after all. If there is a fight, no matter whether they win or lose, they will not look good. Ms. Wang, they are all a group of students. When they are in high spirits, they will inevitably lose their temper. Isn't that a problem? Besides, there were so many people watching here just now, and your school also has surveillance. It seems that you started the incident first. Oh. Teacher Liu appeared in front of Su Ming and said with a smile on his face. Although their teachers didn't pay attention to this matter, it doesn't mean they won't pay attention, especially Liu Ruyu, as the management teacher of special enrollment, has been staring at this side all the time. Although she doesn't know the ins and outs, but this is the Imperial University's initiative to find fault, which she can still be sure of. Is that so? The teacher at Imperial University looked at the students around him. Although no one answered him, the expressions of the students could already explain a lot of questions. Since this is the case, you have taught me a lesson, so let's stop here. If you want to make a distinction and enter the lost world, you can do whatever you want. It's not good for Mr. Wang to hold on to his own faults. Anyway, Shanghai University is a guest here, so even if he is upset, he can only bear with it. Hi, what's your name? The teacher had spoken, and the students naturally had no choice but to retreat one after another, but someone asked Su Ming's name before leaving. Su Ming, do you have an opinion? Su Ming frowned, and said his name without saying a word. Anyway, he is worthy of the group of guys in the imperial capital. Su Ming, right, okay, I remember you, I will take special care of you when you enter another world, and the two of you. The man pointed at Su Ming, and then pointed at Fatty and Shunzi, and turned away with a tugging attitude. It's over, why did you get in for yourself, this is miserable. The fat man's expression changed immediately, and he said with a mournful face. What are you afraid of? It's not like you haven't read the materials for this year's freshmen at Imperial University, so there's nothing to worry about. Su Ming said speechlessly for a while, Fatty is good at everything, but he is too cowardly. Boss Su, of course you are not afraid, Shunzi and I can't do it. After entering the foreign world, our position is randomly assigned. You know us. If they are targeted by them, we will feel that our life will be sad. The fat man explained that if they can act together, there is nothing to worry about if they are with Su Ming, but the problem is that they may not be able to form a team successfully. Then you all wish yourselves good luck. Su Ming was stunned for a moment, and said to the two with sympathetic eyes, he can't solve this problem either. After all, I am only a third-order supernatural being, not a god. After Liu Ruyu came over to inquire about the situation, she rolled her eyes and left. The freshman competition is jointly organized by the 4 schools. The University of Shanghai has already come, but the ancient capital and the southern capital still need some time, so it will officially start tomorrow. Although the school arranges accommodation, the students are basically allowed to move freely. After all, if you come to the imperial capital once, you must see the city. One thing to say, although the capital is also a metropolis, the imperial capital always makes me feel a kind of pressure. In terms of city defense strength, the imperial capital must be much stronger than the magical capital. In the suburbs, Su Ming, Fatty and others strolled through it, looking for something while chatting. Nonsense. The headquarters of the Asia-Pacific Alliance is in the imperial capital, and the defense force is of course strong. Otherwise, how can this amount of attention be enough? Don't talk, hurry up and find the place I'm looking for. What kind of piss is this research institute? Other places are fine, it's all in the Alliance headquarters, and it's hidden underground. Su Ming said angrily. He received a call from Yang Mei during the day, asking him to take some time to go to the main courtyard of the research institute. Tomorrow is the opening of the contest. At the beginning, I didn't know how long I would stay in the alien world, so Su Ming simply came over at night, because the location of the research institute was hard to find. Who is it? This is a restricted area, no entry is allowed. Suddenly, several red dots appeared on the foreheads of Su Ming and others, and a group of people in standard uniforms came out, all holding supernatural guns in their hands. Affiliated to the research institute, come here to handle business. Su Ming threw the communication device that Yang Mei gave him to the leader of the other party. The device has the certification of the research institute. If there is no accident, these people should be the defense force of the research institute's main courtyard, and they should be able to confirm the uniqueness of the device. Hello, you can enter the main courtyard, but the two of them can't, they can only wait in our camp. After comparing the data, the man returned the device to Su Ming and said. Su Ming nodded, signaled Fatty and the others to be calm, and then followed into the General Research Institute. Damn, Sister May, what's going on with you? Why are you here at the General Hospital? Are you not afraid of being expelled if you move around like this? After entering, Su Ming immediately saw the blonde mature woman with her hands folded in front of her body, but still unable to stop the choppy waves. HMPH, elder sister is not as useless as you think. The General Hospital is no different from the hospital. I can't go out to pick you up. I can only let you find it yourself. It's a great thing for you to come here this time. I met you, let's go in and talk. Yang Mei winked and said, as Su Ming expected, this woman also has a considerable status in the General Institute, and all researchers who bump into her will greet her politely. Do you still remember the body of the alien beast that I asked you to take back? After I collected the data last time, I immediately got the attention of the General Academy, but at that time, your Magic City University was hunting down the stronger alien beast, so always the hospital put this matter down first, but now the alien beast has escaped the pursuit of the Alliance. Apart from the data I submitted, there are no other research clues, and the evolution of alien beasts is too serious, so the Research Institute wants the body in my hand for further research. Su Ming frowned, and immediately understood the meaning. That's right, if you don't figure out the evolution of the alien beast, the top management of the Alliance will not be able to survive for a day. You may not know that the evolved alien beast that escaped abruptly penetrated the Eastern Defense Line. It is a first-order alien beast, but its combat power is higher than that of the king beast, and Xian meets the certification standards of the ancestor alien beast. Yang Mei introduced to Su Ming, and Su Ming grinned. No wonder Shangguanzhang couldn't do anything with that guy, even the Dean's 9th level shot couldn't kill him. Such fighting power is really unbelievable. Then there's no need for me to come here. I'll give you something different when I return to the capital, so why go all the way here? Immediately, Su Ming said with a speechless face, it's no problem to walk a few steps, but the key is that this place is hard to find. Chapter 54. Things are not what you think. If I can, I don't want to come to the imperial capital from the devil's capital, but this is also something that can't be helped. Besides, if I want that body, it's not good for you. What a good thing. Yang Mei sighed and said, compared to the research institute in the magic capital, the General Institute here in the imperial capital is obviously not so easy, not only in a large scale, but also with many rules. Moreover, the researchers here are all top-notch, not to mention the fierce competition, and the introversion is very serious. This is not friendly to Yang Mei, who has devoted herself to research since she started her research. The Academy has arrangements for our researchers. Each special-level researcher can only have one special-level research project in his hands. The main reason is to allow us to discover as many new things as possible in this research. I am your research specialist now. In other words, your suspected S-level ability is a special-level research project in my hands right now. As for the evolutionary beast, after passing the review of the Academy, it was also listed as a special research project, so I was called in to carry out the project handover. Yang Mei explained that although she felt helpless and couldn't see anything else on her expression, Su Ming couldn't help frowning. Sister Mei, have you ever been to the library of Shanghai Metropolitan University? There is a book in it, which introduces the various institutions of the Alliance, and also mentions the title of Special Researcher. If I remember correctly, Special Researcher can conduct research at the same time. The research of multiple projects, the so-called special-level research projects, the average special-level researcher can have up to 3 in his hands. Su Ming said, looking at Yang Mei as if to say, you are taking me for a fool. I can't tell, you're still the kind of person who goes to the library. Yang Mei was stunned for a moment, and said with some embarrassment, only then did she realize that the school Su Ming attended was one of the 4 famous schools, and the knowledge about the alliance of supernatural powers in it was absolutely comprehensive. Don't change the subject. Is there someone in the General Academy who wants you to give up this research project? After thinking for a while, Su Ming asked, where there are so-called people, there are rivers and lakes, and there is competition in the Research Institute. Although it is not the kind of competition of fighting and killing, even if they are both special projects, there are gaps in them. The existence of evolutionary beasts is very likely to be related to the survival of the human alliance. For researchers, the significance of winning this project is huge once the results are obtained. Little guy, you're not very young, but your mind is quite flexible. This kind of thing can be seen at once. Although my sister is a special researcher, it may be rare in other places, but here in the General Academy as a member, the courtyard makes such a decision, and I can't help it. However, for you, this matter is not a bad thing. The body samples of evolutionary beasts are very rare. It is very likely that the one in your hand is the only one that is controlled. The degree of cherishment can be imagined. You can use this make a deal with the Academy. There are a lot of things in the Academy, you must be able to use them. As for a special research project, one less will be less. Seeing that she couldn't hide it from Su Ming, Yang Mei had no choice but to tell the truth. Although Yang Mei's status is not low, she already has a project with an S-level ability in her hand, and now she has another project with an ability that is no less than an S-level ability, which will definitely make other researchers unhappy. Moreover, winning the position of Su Ming researcher was originally the result of the high-level game of the Research Institute. Yang Mei was the beneficiary, and she got a little bit of a bargain. It is a last resort to give up the current evolutionary beast project. One less project. Sister Mei, since you know that I have a flexible mind, don't use such cover-up words to perfuse me. Although I am not a researcher, I know that research projects are to you what supernatural powers are to supernatural powers. Those who can do it are as important. This body of a strange beast is my gift for you to come to Shanghai. How can you just let it go out like this? Anyway, I don't want it, and no one can take it away. Su Ming said immediately. He killed the beast, he kept the body, and it was still in his hands. You can give it to whoever your research institute says. Have I agreed? Your research institute counts that onion. You, don't be so extreme, I said you can. Sister Mei, it's not that I look down on the research institute. It's that I really despise the things that the research institute has. Before Yang Mei could finish speaking, Su Ming blocked her with one sentence, although Su Ming said it very casually. But after Yang Mei thought about it carefully, she found that she really couldn't think of a reason to refute. The reason is simple, because Su Ming's ability is something that the Research Institute has never touched before, which means that the Research Institute does not have any training methods and products related to spatial abilities. If I really want to say, the person in the Research Institute who has a deep understanding of spatial abilities is Yang Mei herself. While talking, the two had already arrived at a door. After Yang Mei swiped her ID card, the door slowly opened, and it could be seen that many people were already waiting inside. There are young people like Yang Mei, and there are also old people with white hair. Without exception, these people all wear the same identity badges as Yang Mei. They are all special researchers. You finally came here with your research subject. Did you decide to call someone after struggling for a long time for us to wait here? As soon as he entered, a gloating voice rang out. Xuan Sheng seemed to be a tall woman with big waves, about the same age as Yang Mei. However, the tone of this speech made it easy for people to perceive that there was a wrong relationship between her and Yang Mei. Thinking about it, I understand that the two have almost the same appearance, and they are also special researchers in the Research Institute, women. For people who are of the same kind as themselves, they are born with a sense of competition. The relationship between the two is not very good, which is also normal. But Su Ming will not be used to this kind of person who calls himself a research object. You must know that Yang Mei, her own exclusive researcher, does not call herself that. You, a person who met for the first time, really treat me like a guinea pig. Yes. Immediately, Su Ming's eyes fell on her, and the surrounding space immediately moved closer to her. The heavy pressure directly broke the high heels on Da Bolang's feet, and the posture he was playing was also compressed into a curled-up shape. Study subject, do you still want to slice and sample my body? Su Ming said coldly, although the pressure exerted by the space was mainly on Da Bo, but besides Yang Mei, Su Ming also took care of the others. The atmosphere in the room fell silent as his voice fell. Chapter 55. After discussion, the senior management of the Research Institute decided to let Yang Mei come up with the project of evolving alien beasts. This news is great news for these researchers who still have space in their hands. Before Su Ming and the others came in, they were still discussing for a while how to win the project, but as soon as they came in, they gave them a slap in the face without saying a word. Regardless of the high status of these special researchers in the academy, they are simply a group of clerks. Their abilities must be awakened, but they must not be too strong, otherwise they would not come to the academy. Not to mention that Su Ming is now a third-level power user. Even if he has the strength of the second level, it is very easy for these people to be deflated. What's more, after practicing mimicry, his understanding of space has reached a new height. Tricks and effects are completely different. Su Ming, what are you doing? Hurry up and put away the abilities. Yang Mei hurriedly shouted. Although she said it was very enjoyable, she still had to do what she should do. They are all special level researchers, and their IQ should not be low. When you speak in the future, you'd better use your brain. Su Ming curled his lips, said to the big wave, and took back the ability by the way. Immediately, there was a panting sound in the room, and many researchers looked at Su Ming with horror, and sighed in their hearts. Is this the effect of the S-level ability? Just one look makes us breathless. He is still so young. When he grows up, it will be fine. Ahem. I'm sorry Mr. Su Ming. Su Wei didn't mean that. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, I apologize to you on her behalf. Not long after, an older researcher stood up and said, "This is Vice President's son of the General Hospital." Yang Mei introduced to Su Ming, stretched out her hand and twisted his waist, asking him to use the slope to get off the donkey. Then it's better to be exempted. You are very old, I can't bear it, The corner of Su Ming's mouth twitched, and he calmly knocked Yang Mei away from pinching her hand. This place is a weakness. It hurts so much. Dean-san, we are the ones who should apologize. You also know that the four famous schools are under great competition pressure, and Su Ming's temperament will not be changed for a while. Yang Mei said to Dean-san. Su Ming refused to speak softly, so she had to come by herself. It's okay, I can understand it. It's this kind of ability, so try not to treat me as an old bone. I can't stand it. Dean-san said with a smile. Although the atmosphere at the beginning of the meeting was a bit stiff, but in order to facilitate subsequent communication, Dean-san also intentionally eased it up. You are all special researchers, and you are all very busy. I will enter the Lost World tomorrow, so let's make a long story short. I heard that you want something from me. Yang Mei remained polite to these people. Su Ming didn't care so much. A research institute that didn't help her at all. Why did she get used to them? Miss Yang told you already. Evolving a beast is very important, so. I'm not interested in hearing your reasons. I just want to know if you want that body. Before Dean-san finished speaking, Su Ming interrupted directly. Coupled with the pressure of space before, he appeared extremely majestic in the eyes of the researchers at this moment. Yes, but we are here for research, not for personal gain. This. For research. You have all seen the data report submitted by Sister May before. Then, isn't she doing research? In a word, the atmosphere in the room has cooled down again. Everyone in the group can see that this little guy has a bad temper. It's clearly complaining to Yang Mei. For a while, everyone began to discuss, although the courtyard decided to ask Yang Mei to come up with the project of evolving alien beasts, but the project was just a project. The owner of the sample doesn't want to give you research, so what's the use of having a project in hand? This young girl is studying your abilities, and she won't be able to take care of her energy, and these two projects are the top priorities. In order to improve efficiency, So you plan to choose one of these people to take my things without my consent? Su Ming raised his brows and said, Dean-san said everything he said, and he said it. Fortunately, Dean-san is old and has a mild temper, otherwise he would be suffocated to death by Su Ming like this. It's not taking it, it's exchanging it with you. As long as it is within the capabilities of our research institute, we can satisfy you as much as possible. Dean-san's tone was a little speechless, and he just felt that the young man in front of him was too difficult to deal with. Then I'm sorry, you can't satisfy me, and I didn't think about exchanging that thing for anything. I can let anyone study my own things. It has nothing to do with you. Su Ming, right, you have to know how much the evolution of alien beasts will affect the future. This is a matter related to the survival and destiny of human beings. It is not something that you can show your prestige here for someone. Our research institute is dedicated to this business, we have our considerations, and our considerations are not something you, a layman, can question. As soon as Su Ming's voice fell, the previous big wave immediately answered, and the seemingly impartial words made Su Ming feel a little dazed. Yes, young man, I know you want to defend Yongmei, but you have to take a long-term view. Is this matter negotiable? That's right, we are also thinking about human beings. It is the most important thing to find out the reason for the evolution of alien beasts as soon as possible. You don't know how to do research. Sometimes research takes a lot of energy. We're doing this for the sake of Miss Yang. It is said that some research institutes have also started talking, not to mention how much sincerity there is in these words. Su Ming will not doubt that they are for the sake of human beings, but he will not believe that these people have no selfishness in them. Su Ming smiled, and waved two alien beast bodies with one hand, and they appeared on the ground. When some researchers saw this, they immediately came over to check the situation, but after a sprint, they found themselves standing still. Did you see it? This is the body of the strange beast, and then you see. Su Ming pointed to the body, looked at the researchers and said, then moved the body back into the storage space with a wave of his palm, spreading his hands apart. It's gone. Dean's son and the researchers. You have all seen it. The body is gone, and it has disappeared under your noses, so give your project to whoever you like, don't bother me. Sister May, if it's okay, I'll go first. I have to prepare for tomorrow's competition. Su Ming grinned and said, anyway, the storage space is his exclusive space, no one can take things from it without his consent. I don't admit it, I don't care who will study your project, use righteousness to suppress me, and you don't see if you are on the moral high ground. Said that I am not responsible for the alliance and humanity. It's not like Yang Mei can't study. After speaking, Su Ming used space teleportation to leave the room without leaving a fart behind, leaving a group of research institutes in a daze. What happened just now? I clearly saw the body, why did it disappear in the blink of an eye? Where did he take it out from? Damn, hurry up and see if there is anything left on the floor, that is also a sample. I found it, there is a hair here, but it seems to be dry. All of a sudden, the room was in chaos, and all the special researchers were shameless, lying on the floor and searching for something carefully. But apart from a few dry hairs proving that the body really appeared here just now, there is no valuable discovery at all. Young girl, he just said that. Dean's son, the ability report I submitted before has already stated that his ability has the attribute of space, so it is very reasonable for him to store some things in the space. Although I obey the arrangement of the courtyard, but for this project, I don't want to let go, although I didn't expect him to do this, but if possible, I still hope that the Academy can agree to let me continue my research. Yang Mei said without thinking. Su Ming helped her set the tone of the matter. If she didn't come forward to fight for it herself, then she would be too sorry for Su Ming's hard work. You two, it's really a headache. He's telling us that if he doesn't want to, no one can study that corpse, that's all, except you, no one else can see it. Now that you have a body, you can continue to study it. After trying to understand the reason, Dean's son smiled wryly and said, if there is a specific storage location for this body, it is better to say that it can be obtained through the alliance. But now you don't even know where they put it, even if you want to use tricks. At that time, people will insist that the body is scrapped, or lost in the research institute, and it will not make sense. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.